What's better than flying first class? How about a repositioning cruise? That way you can travel in luxury, with comfort, fine dining, visit various ports, and arrive relaxed and refreshed, and usually save money. Hi, my name's Howard Taylor. I've been a slow traveler since 2019. My wife and I have enjoyed a number of repositioning cruises and found it a fantastic way to travel and get from point A to point B. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use our favorite cruise search engine to find the best repositioning cruises, and that's CruisePlum. First, what is a repositioning cruise? Well, most people are familiar with cruises that go in a circle, basically from around, start at point A, go around, you're back at point A again. With a repositioning cruise, the cruise lines are repositioning their boats for the seasons so that you get to travel and go from point A to point B now and reposition yourself the same way that the cruise ships reposition their boats. But how do you find repositioning cruises easily? Well, CruisePlum is my absolute favorite search engine to find the best deals. We've taken several repositioning cruises ourselves, one to get from the United States to Amsterdam as we began exploring Europe, then various cruises around Europe, and we're getting ready to take one to get from Incheon, South Korea to Tokyo. So we really like repositioning cruises. CruisePlum is the best search engine to find these repositioning cruises with. I'm going to walk you step by step how to use CruisePlum and show you a very special thing that CruisePlum does that I have not seen any other search engine do. So go to cruiseplum.com, and once you're there, we're going to do a basic search. Now, this CruisePlum does a lot. I'm not going to walk through everything it does. Today's focus is on repositioning cruises and the special secret that CruisePlum has that no other search engine has that I've seen yet. Click on search. We're going to do a standard search here. And I'm not going to log in today. We'll explain the advantages of that in just a few minutes. We're going to go straight into start searching. How many passengers? 2. Say I'm from the United States. I find 1 row per cabin the handiest. Downloads the data. And now we have 130,000 cruises to choose from. That may be a few too many. Now, if you notice over here, it says, want to save this search, join now for free. You'll want to join CruisePlum so you can log in and save your searches, and it will allow you to track a cruise to look for if it drops its price later. Fantastic tools that are free. CruisePlum is not selling you anything. It is simply a search engine. Now, one of the things we want to do before I start the search, though, is up in configuration. So I've got the passengers, United States. Total and per day prices includes tips. This is very unique to CruisePlum, and I'm going to hit a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Optimized for the computer, and I have it set for 50. The normal default would be 20 that would pop up, but really that's you kind of end up scrolling too much. So I found that 50 being the handiest. So I'll close that. Now, a repositioning cruise. How do we find one that says repositioning? On the side here, you're not going to see the word repositioning. What is down here is round trip. And here with round trip, we simply say no. Those are the repositioning cruises. That gets us down to 27,000 cruises. Still probably a few too many. So how do we start narrowing down what's important to you? Going back up here, well, the monthly calendar, daily calendar, special days, cruise length, day of the week, price per day, base fare, total price. Lots of options are here. Where you leave from, embark, debark, ports of call, ports you want to skip, any cruise lines that you particularly like, lines and cabins, even particular ships that you may like. So you have complete control here. But let's see what's important to you, or what may be important to you for finding a cruise. So one thing that usually comes into play is price. Price per day. You've got prices as low as $100 to $149 a day. We'll stick with the lower end right now, up to $249. Now you can see that these prices go very high up, $2,000 plus per day. Now, if that's your budget, well, congratulations. That's not my budget. So I'm going to focus more in an area that I tend to focus on, which is some of these lower prices. I'm looking to get from point A to point B as happily and pleasantly as possible and watch my budget. So that dropped us down to, 1,189 cruises. Let's see, what else? How about the cruise length? Well, there's some that are 1 to 2 days. Well, that's repositioning, but it can't be repositioning very far. It's just if it's just 2 days. 3 to 4 days. I'm looking for a little bit longer cruise or longer distance to cover. So let's say 8 to 10 days, 11 to 13, 14. Oh, well, we really get into big ones with 15 to 20. We'll throw that in too. All right, now what are we up to? Or down to is 772 options. Aha. See, well, I'm really looking to make sure my costs are low. What else keeps the cost down? What if I just get an inside cabin? That's going to affect things. So I'll go down here to cabins only. I'll say just look at the inside cabins. All right, that gets me down to 382. Now, a couple of things come into play here for you that you're about to learn when the ships reposition. And that's with the monthly calendar. So let's look into 2026. And at a glance here, you can see there are none in January, 9 in February, then 34, 68, 12. Oh, wait, a lot more in March and April. Then it kind of dies off. And then more in October and November. So there's your key times for when repositioning cruises occur. Let's focus today on March and April. Now we're down to 102 cruises. Over here now, we can begin sorting. The number of days, the region, the cabin. So let's take a look at the cabin price per day. All right, so from 124, 126, 13 days, 17 days, from Rome to Miami, Barcelona to Galveston. You'll see that MSC will usually come up with some of the lower price cruises. Doesn't mean they're bad. They'll just very often see that there'll be some of the lower price cruises there. All right, so what do we want to pick? Let's pick a certain cruise line. Let's go on down over here. And if you think, in the cruise lines, who's here? Carnival, Celebrity, Costa, Holland America. Let me take a look at Holland America. Are good things about them? All right, so I have several to choose from here. Ooh, if I can get from Fort Lauderdale to Rotterdam, 14 days transatlantic. Would that be a good cruise? Let's take a look. We come over here where it says I for information, obviously. And we're going to scroll down. And here is some key information that's going to come into play. Obviously, the brochure base rate. I give that a grain of salt. What you're mostly interested in is what is your total price. And as you go down, you'll see the base fare, and then you see taxes and port charges. In every cruise now, they will include taxes and port charges. They didn't used to. Used to be you could see a cruise, and for example, this one they might say it was $1,500 for the cruise. And you say, well, great, $1,500 for the cruise. That's nice. But then they would tack on taxes and port charges. And all of a sudden that could be another $500. Well, wait, why didn't you just tell me that ahead of time? They should have, but they didn't. What happened is this: July 2024, the state of California passed its hidden fees law, saying you can't have hidden fees. They have to be disclosed. Well, California is not the federal government and not the world, but the cruise lines said, okay, if California, if that's the law there, we don't want to have one pricing set up for California and another pricing set up for everybody else. So basically, they all now say taxes and port charges are included as if it's something special. And you may say, well, if it's already going to be included anyway, why even list it as taxes and port charges? I don't know this for sure, but it appears because many of the cruises will have casinos, and the casinos, if you've gambled there, may give you complimentary cruises. But with the complimentary cruises, what they will do is say, your cruise is complimentary, but you must pay the taxes and port charges. At some point, they might say with the regulations that no, you can't do that anymore either. Right now, they still can do it. Now look over here. You see tips. Well, tips, if you've been on a cruise before, they very often say, would you like to pay your tips in advance? Would you like to just put it on your credit card with everything else? And the tips are $18, $20 a day. And you think, well, that sounds like it's pretty mandatory also. Turns out it's actually not. And the reason that you see it as a separate entry is because you have the option to pay it or not pay it. But they don't really tell you that much up front. Now, you do want to tip. You can tip in cash or you can tip automatically with their recommended $18, $20 a day. You definitely want to tip though because you're a good person. And with CruisePlum, compared to the other cruise search engines that are out there that are usually trying to sell you something, those will not give you the price with the tips. You want the price of the tips so you know exactly what you're really being charged. That's another reason that we very, very, very much like CruisePlum as our favorite cruise search engine. So now let's go down here. So we've got our base fare for two people. Taxes and port charges are included. Tips included here, added in. The total, the price per person, the price per day total, and the price per person per day, $73. Now, why do I say that this is better than first class? If you're flying first class, you get to sit in a chair for 8, 10, 12 hours or more on a plane. Yeah, they get treated well and it's good. But with the cruise, now I get a room, I get room service, I get my room serviced, I get fine dining, I get entertainment, I get to stop at various ports. I get all the facilities that are there, the gym, the pool, um, bumper cars in some places now. It's gotten insane. And I get to arrive relaxed, refreshed, and enjoying my journey. That is the wonderful thing about a repositioning cruise versus sitting in a chair for 8, 10, 12 hours or more, even though it's a first class flight. Let's go on down here and see what else is here. Now you can see the base fare history. And now I don't need all the categories here, so you can eliminate them, get rid of some of the top ends. We'll come down, not the spa, balcony. Now ocean view. Now I can see, let's say in the past 1 year, what the prices have done. And the price of this cruise has been coming down and came down as recently as just July, just a couple of months ago. That's good to know. Flight price check, I never use this, so I won't comment on that one. And then you got your ports. Well, I've got the ports. I've got 4 ports that this is going to go to. And click on, you can see Wikipedia, Wikivoyage, and you can get more information about them. Information about the ship, the build year, how many cabins, how many passengers go on the ship, the facilities in the ship. And last, you'll see here, if you want to book. Now it says more info and book. Well, wait, I said that CruisePlum is not selling anything, and they're not. If you click on that, that is going to take you to the cruise line's website, not CruisePlum for you to buy through CruisePlum. Let's go back up a second, though. Well, that's nice. It's just 4 ports. What if I want to go to more ports? Can I choose that? Well, you certainly can. And so make that smaller through there. And let's go back over here into our search side. And as I scroll around, different ports. I can choose none, few, some, or lots. Well, what does some do? Miami, Tokyo to Vancouver. Let's see where that one does. How many ports will I get out of that? Scrolling down again. And now I see, that's Alaska. That's going to give me 6 different ports along the way. And I can get information on any of those that I want. Guess what? That's pretty much it. Now let's look at a couple of other little tweaks so you might want to do. Narrow that one out. Let's say, okay, I've made all my selections. I'm a little lost by scrolling up and down. All I have to do is come up here and say, I don't just want Holland America. I'll just get rid of that here. I can pick anything else that I want. I'll stick with that monthly calendar. And now I've got a few more choices. I've got 53 choices here. Various cruise lines here because we got rid of it just being Holland America. If I want to go Orlando to Barcelona, $162 per day. Which is $81 per person per day. Again, notice that taxes and board charges included, and they've added in the tips so you get a true bottom line price. So is this a good value or not? Well, consider what you're getting. What would you pay for a hotel room per day? Okay, let's say for a hotel room per day, at least $100, $125, depending where you are. Okay, so let's say $125 for a hotel room, $50 a day minimum for some decent dining. They got very fine dining there on the ship. You get your transportation, the cost of transportation for getting from point A to point B. What would you pay if you were flying in a plane? Then you get your entertainment. As you have the shows, of course, you've got the gym, you've got the pool, and you've got the being delivered to various ports. And at the ports, of course, you can choose whether or not you want to pay for excursions or so. So think about what all is included, and you're getting delivered from point A to point B. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. Now, of course, with CruisePlum, you can then join, and then you can log in. And if you said, that's a good trip that I'd be interested in going in, but it's a little expensive still. Now that's kind of a weird chart. Those happen sometimes. Let's see if I can pick one that's a little cleaner. Let's pick this one here. We'll scroll down. Okay, I can take a look here. The spa, get rid of the spa, the balcony, the ocean view. All right, I see that this has been dropping from $13.69. Now it's down to $10.74. Well, that was a pretty good drop, $300 drop. that still may not be good enough for you. So if it drops just a little bit more, then I might like to book that. Well, once you sign up, then you can put a watch on it and it will alert you when the price reaches a level that you want. Also, if later you want to go back in once you've signed up and you've got your searches saved, you can go in and instead of having to make all the choices that we made here, you can go in, click, pick your search, and it'll pop right up. So you can have a variety of searches. Maybe it's a repositioning cruise. Maybe you're looking for something particular part of the world, particular time, or you're more open to the traditional point A, go around and get back to point A cruise. You have total control. And that is CruisePlum. Go into cruiseplum.com, play with it a bit. You'll find it a fantastic search engine, easy to work around in, as you see. I hope you enjoy it, and I wish you all the best in cruising. Please be sure to check out some of our other videos that have some other great tips for senior slow travel. Thank you.